I am back. Hopefully this works. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to invite you in. Okay. Thank you guys for being here. Ellen Sutter of ESP Presents and ESP Book Chats. I will bring page turners your way. Hopefully our guest can get up in here. I'm going to invite her in. This is I'm going to put her book up here. Children's book, Searching for Me. As I said earlier, thank you guys for showing up. Her book is titled Searching for Me. It is about colorism, racism, and mixed lineage. Hopefully we have her there. Kimberly, hopefully this is, let me see. Hopefully you get that invitation. It's saying unable to join. I'll try you again. That's the one I'm gonna get. It says Kimberly Beasley. Let's see. Come on in the room if you're there. Again, Ellen Sutter of ESP Presents and ESP Book Chats, where we bring page turners your way. Hopefully Kimberly is able to get on. Kimberly, if you're there, go ahead and ask to be on my video. I'll just wait a moment to get you on. Again, tonight, it was a double scheduled show, and we thank Kimberly. Hopefully there is no tech problem, that she'll be able to come in, and we will start our show. Let's see how this works. Oh, it's not doing it. Has to be on. Let's see. Okay. Come on in the room. It keeps declining, Kimberly. Okay, grab this invitation. Hopefully you're able to get that. It keeps saying declining. And if you're not able to see it, go ahead and request to be on my video. Again, Ellen Sutter of ESP Presents and ESP Book Chats. We bring page turners your way. I don't know why is it doing that. Let's see what's happening. If you're out there, Kimberly, go ahead and request to be on my video. It's not doing right for me. It says unable to join. Go out and come back in. Not sure what's going on. Let's see if this works. I see you there. Hopefully this is you. Yep, that's you. Hello, Melvina. Good to see you. Come on in the room. Hey, that's
Hello.
the hello. That's the one I was pressing. It kept denying. It says cannot join.
Oh, I don't know. Well, we're here.
We are definitely here and definitely surprised. This is our. Thank you for allowing me to do what I needed to do. Thank you so much for that, and I really appreciate that. So today, guys, our guest, Kimberly Beasley, we talked about her book, Searching for Me, and it's about racism, colorism, and mixed lineage. She was here before, and now we're going to talk about community. Go ahead and give the people a snippet about yourself and also a snippet about the background, and we get into these questions. Girls, loaded.
All right, my name is Kimberly Beasley. I reside in Tulsa, Oklahoma, originally from Marianna, Arkansas, which is a rural town in Lee County, Arkansas, which is like almost 57 miles from Memphis, Tennessee. Um, it's one of the poorest towns in the actually United States of America. Um, and so, but it hails a lot of great people, including myself. So, but yeah, it's a great town that produced a lot of great people, I would say. But I live here in Tulsa now. So my book, Searching for Me, is about um, really about my story of my life, about a little girl of mixed lineage who just tries to find out who she is, um, and the struggles that come with it, being my hue. So let's get into it.
Yes, we will get into this. And so we talked about the last time we talked about what was it like with you being a child. You just to recap with these folks here, and you told us about, you know, with your skin, looking in the
Mhm.
mirror, it sort of, in my words, betray you because you're a black woman, but your skin does not look like black. And you did tell us last time that you wanted that black skin, the dark skin like your mom is. And so that was, I don't want to say part of the struggle, but part of the journey. And then we had your sisters on the second one where um, we were talking about family. And so
Yes.
in that family, I got a chance to hear the backdrop from both of your sisters, and both of you guys sort of had the same thing that happened, but different because there were different eras in which you were living in. So now today we bring you back and see what happens within the community. And so my first question to you, Kimberly, is what is your experience with your treatment within the community? When you go out about in your community, you go out as a black woman, but what is it like in the community? How people view you, your treatment? What is that like?
Well, the first thing they see, I would think they see is a very fair skinned woman. They probably perceive to be a Caucasian woman. Um, and I would hate to say it, but I mean, my treatment is very good,
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
of that. And I hate to say it, but
Would you say it's somewhat like privilege?
yeah, I would say so. Yes. Um, and I know it sounds bad, but
Hmm.
that's really what it is, and I feel, um, um, I wouldn't say betrayed, but
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
feel some kind of way about that because I know that if you were to go in the store, you wouldn't feel like you wouldn't get that same treatment. If
Hmm.
although I am a black woman, and I feel that um, it kind of hurts me that she wouldn't get the same treatment, although I am a black woman, the same as you,
Hmm.
and that hurts me, that I get that better treatment because of my light skin, and
Hmm.
that's not fair. I know, and there are some light skin women of my same hue that would love that do accept that privilege
Hmm.
um, of better treatment, and some like it. But for me, it just makes it hurts my feelings.
Wow. And since you're in that area, I was going to ask, and I'm going to go ahead there and just kind of put it together. That was one of those questions I was going to ask you. How are you treated like going to department stores? I go in there, hey, how you doing? That's the first thing. They want to make sure that they recognize that I'm
Hmm.
black, that I'm moving about in the store. Can I help you with something? Do you get those type of things when you first come to the store? You're able to walk freely in the department store.
I can walk freely in the department store. In fact, how can I help you find something? Let's go look for something. It's very good. It's very good treatment. I don't get the follow you around, and I don't get that. They're like, and there again, and there again, I feel some kind of way about that because I know that, they'll follow, they may follow you around. They may see, you try to put some in your pocket, and that's not fair, I'm not trying to make light of that. I'm not, we're laughing, we're joking, but
But it's
we
true.
know that's how it is in society.
Hmm.
Um, but that's the difference in my hue, and
Exactly.
the societal differences, so.
Mm. What about if with your husband or your son and y'all walk in all three of you guys walk together in the department store? Is there a hey, how you doing, or is there a difference between the three of y'all, or do you still get that?
Well, there's a
You know,
problem now. That's where it gets a little tricky. That's where it gets a little tricky now. Because my husband and stop laughing.
I'm just
when
saying.
I we walk. My husband and my son are, they're darker than I, of course. But when we walk in together, um, there is a difference. There are looks, and there's a difference. I would think, but um, there's not the directed, how you doing, let me help you, and it's
So they
it's
kind of stop your privilege, huh? They kind of no, let me stop. They kind of dampen your
yes, it's the privilege, stop, and I wouldn't say it. I hate to use the word privilege. To me, it's not a privilege. It's
right.
not a privilege to me, and it's not. So I hate the word privilege, but I mean, we're coming from the from their terminology, so, but but the looks change to a different tone, when we
Hmm.
are walking together. So, but yeah.
But what is your thought process? Let's just do a two split. Let's say you went in, you know, that day, and then another day you came with your husband and son. So that thought process, when you got how you doing, may I help you, and you walk out the door and you think about that versus, you don't get that as much. What is your thought process on both end of the I want to say stick or spectrum, whatever you want to call it, over here and there? What is your thought process?
Well, it turns from it turns to me it's a little anger, because the intention is not on me anymore, it's on him or my
Mm-hmm.
son.
Mm-hmm.
And it goes to the question mark, of what are they doing here? What do what is their intent?
Mm-hmm.
So it goes from, you know, uh, it's a little. It depends on where we are, our
Mm-hmm.
surroundings. If we're going to a
Mm-hmm.
department store, it's always that cloud of, what do you want? What are you doing in here?
Mm-hmm.
To them, what are you doing in here?
Mm-hmm.
Opposed to me,
Mm-hmm.
how can I help you?
Wow.
So it's just a little anger to that,
Mm-hmm.
because we all know what that means. We all know
Mm-hmm.
what that little, I say, prejudice
Yeah.
means.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is geared towards, with the hue, with the colorism, the
Yeah.
hue.
Yeah.
And so, especially my son, he's a young man. He's 23, and he's just beginning this process.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and his fear. Now, he has more of fear now because of all the happenings that's happened. You know, um, in the United States of late. So,
Mm-hmm.
in wondering, um he's trying to keep himself protected,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, so that's my word for him. But yeah, to answer your question, I have a little anger because of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm going to reset, Kimberly, resetting, and thank you, Laughs with B. And Melvina, if you're still there, thank you for being there. And those who look on and replay, thank you. Most definitely, thank you guys for watching us. So, this conversation I've always wanted to have to those who listen or listen in replay, I always wanted to know if I'm a Black woman and I'm getting different things like how you doing when you walk in the store, how much more, or if any, a biracial person would, would encounter. So I'm so glad that we talk about this, and your book means so much more. With that being said, are you still working in the beauty salon, or you had work
Oh
in
no,
the beauty?
no. I had to retire. I closed my salon in 2004 because I suffered from multiple sclerosis.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so because of my um difficulties of holding utensils and standing
Yes,
and bending,
yes.
I had to stop,
Well, take
unfortunately.
care of
Um
yourself first. Take care
yeah,
of
I had
yourself
to take care of
first.
myself. So I use a cane and,
Hmm.
other mobility devices to get around. So, I can't do it anymore. It was my love. It was my
Mm.
passion, my love, that I love to do, but I had to give it up. So yeah.
So I want to ask you, in those years that you spent there, and thank you so much, and like you said, take care of you. And so, what was your experience like working on a a black woman's hair versus a white woman's hair? What was that general response when they see you? You work on a black woman's hair. My mind, I would say, do you do black people hair? Not really knowing, or I don't know. Maybe white people feel comfortable. I don't know if the shop was half and half, with white women and black women. So how was that, response from either the white women and black women? What was that response to you while doing your hair? If when you were in the shop.
Well, I was a sole proprietor. I had my own salon, and coming from a small town, everybody knew me. And so, I mean, I had mostly, African American customers, and I had a few Caucasian customers who trusted me, because they knew my mom and my dad, and they wanted somebody, because I used to, could cut and style really good, and so sometimes they just wanted a good cut. So I mean, you had, a few that came to me because of that, and but I didn't have any, I would have phone calls and say, well, do you do white people's hair? Because hair is hair, hair is hair, just different texture, so it's no difference in hair, just, like I said, the texture, the kinkiness or the straightness of it. Um, and said, you do white people's hair? I'm like, well, I just do hair, Um, but I tell you one thing that I remember, it was a Caucasian man
Mhm.
who had a daughter, and she lived in another part of Arkansas, but she came, I guess she was a granddaughter or something, and her hair was like mine,
Mhm.
but she was actually Caucasian.
Mhm.
And so I guess she couldn't find anyone to do her hair. And so he tipped in the shop, and he said, I have a granddaughter whose hair is like y'all's. And I said, I said, I
Call it,
said,
girl. Call it.
I said, okay, like y'all's, and he's like, who is y'all? First off, I said to myself, I said, okay, and so he said, well, she's outside. Just want to know if you could do her hair. I'm like, well, just bring her in, let me see her. And of course, she came in, and she had should have, kinkier hair.
Mhm.
And so I could tell she was a little embarrassed, but I, welcomed her in, and I knew what she needed. And so I did her hair. And when she left out, she had tears in her eyes because she had Caucasian hair when I got through with her, And
Yes.
so I gave her the identity she wanted and needed, and so she can go back home to be a Caucasian, who
I
she
know what
is,
you
her
mean.
identity,
Yes.
her identity, So yeah, so that
Ah,
was, and so um, and she probably went back and didn't tell anyone she came to a back salon to
I
get
see.
that look,
Mm.
So that identity, she needed that identity for herself. And so here
Wow.
we go again with the acceptance, the
Yeah.
identity. It just happened to be a Caucasian lady, a Caucasian girl, and she may have been in her teens. I know she was probably in her
Wow.
teens,
Can
but
you?
just to give her that acceptance she
Mhm.
needed, you know.
And you just knew her story.
Yes.
Were you able to? I know you can't disclose too much stuff. Were you able to talk to her and have that window of I'm just like you, or was there any
No,
conversation, or it was
there
enough?
was
It was
there was
enough with
no
what she was going through.
conversation. I think she was comfortable just my presence and me
Hmm.
looking in her, because she know what I was. She just just that comfort knowing that, okay, she can relate. There was a
Mhm. Mhm.
relateness, and me making her feel comfortable in the process.
Mhm.
So there was no discussion. It was just a silence of understanding.
Wow. And
So.
just you saying that, I just want to spend a little bit more time on that because that's something that I told you before that this one lady, I don't know where she came from, but she ended up coming in. I was in California, ended up coming in through my gate, and the daughter was, her skin was like yours, maybe a little bit more darker. Uh, and she had strawberry red hair, and her
Mhm.
hair was very, very kinky. So the mother comes through and she walks through, and she needed that help, for somebody to help her with that, because she kept going to white beauty salons. And I know you said hair is hair, but I've seen where someone's white and they have the perm on there too long. We don't need it that long. Are they trying to do the same process? And for us, a perm is our hair being straight. For them, it's being curly, you
Mhm.
know. And so with that, I just said, in my mind, I'm thinking, well, why don't her hair is like that? Why don't you just go to a black salon? But doing that and just hearing from you and hearing the dialogue, like you just said, that maybe she can go back and now her hair and she fits in. So tell us about that, just how that feels. Like your sister, she said that um, uh, Kimberly, your sister Kelly, her hair is a little bit different. She says she can wear, all of y'all, she can wear, your older sister, she can have an afro, and you guys can have an afro. And so Kelly was saying how if she wants her hair and finger waves, she can have finger waves, she can have afros, she can do all of these things. And so how does that feel? I think you can kind of tell us, how does that feel fitting in, if you choose more of the white side, the black side, and your hair betrays you? I would just say it like that. What is that experience like?
Well, I think that it's being exposed. I would think it's being exposed as to who you are and who you're trying to be.
Mm-hmm.
Who you're trying to be. You take it's like if you're a light skinned person and you look like me and you have the hair that betrays you in a sense,
Mm-hmm.
because you got the
Mm-hmm.
kinkiness, and
Mm-hmm.
so your mask is taken off. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so I would think that person would feel betrayed if their kinkiness, is shown. And so that's why they go to, like, so it's, just like the young lady.
Mm-hmm.
She was a Caucasian girl.
Mm-hmm.
I could look at her and tell she was Caucasian, but her hair was kinky.
Mm-hmm.
It was kinkier. It wasn't all the way Caucasian. It wasn't all the way Caucasian straight.
Mm-hmm.
And so her hair, I can tell her hair made her not fit in to who she was. Because she was from she was up from mostly a Caucasian
Mm-hmm.
area, and so with her being from up there, she didn't fit in.
Yeah.
She didn't fit in. So with her going back and having to, I knew how to make her hair.
Mm-hmm.
I knew how to keep the relaxer on for just a amount of time to, make her hair, not melt off and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Wow.
so she went back home and she was able to fit in. So just, to piggyback on what you're saying, um, the element of exposure, you know,
Yeah.
the element of exposure, like my younger sister, she can fit in with anything. Her hair just, my older sister, her hair's kinkier. Mine is in between,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so so yeah, it's
But we would, we hear more about it now, and I can't go into great detail because I don't know all that much information. But, when they're talking about the Crown Act, we hear it more now. And it's to me, just bottom line, our hair is systemically, pointed out. Like, not too long ago during the pandemic, or kind of before or
mhm,
after, a young man had his head in braids. He's a senior. They didn't want to let him graduate because his hair was braided. One young man, he was on the basketball court. They cut his hair right then and there, you know. a wrestling guy got his hair cut. I could have that mixed up between those two, but it was so many people talking about, you know, you need your hair cut. You know, back in the day, we had to perm our hair so we could fit into the working society, you know, and corporate. You know, our hair wasn't corporate enough, you know, and so we still see that today.
Yes, yes,
You
yes.
know, from color line to where we
Mm-hmm.
live to, you know, places and spaces. I mean, it's it's political, and at the same time we are written in the laws. Remember that one person, I can't think of it, but it was here in Virginia. It was an interracial couple. They was banned from being married, and now it's okay. Which brings me to my next question with to you. uh your husband, you're much lighter skinned and he's darker skinned than you.
Mm-hmm.
When you guys are together, are you perceived as an interracial couple?
Absolutely. You know, for those who don't know us, absolutely. Absolutely. We go to places or restaurants and pretty sure we're perceived as interracial couples.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we get the stares, we get the, sometimes most pleasant, sometimes most, roll your eyes and snares and, sometimes we're in a restaurant, so we know we're seated first and we may be overlooked, from being served a menu. Um, yeah, so it's definitely noticeable.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. How does that feel to you?
Um, 1950s, 60 anger, you
Mm-hmm.
know,
Mm-hmm.
again,
Mm-hmm.
again.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's like we're in 2025, but how far have we come?
Yeah.
How far we come. I mean, doggone it. When are we gonna get over this? When are we gonna get over it? You know, um, I didn't ask to be born this color.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I
Mm-hmm.
was served,
Mm-hmm.
and um no one was at no, it wasn't a dark skin line I stood in, it wasn't a light skin line nobody stood in. So people came out like they came out, so when are we gonna get over it?
Wow. So which people group are more stairs? Like when you're around and you see black women or black men, what is that? Is that an uncomfortable? Is that stairs? Is you know, just, you know, and then versus our white counterparts? What are those looks and stares from both?
It's kind of hard for me to answer now because I've been straight out so long. It's just like I can ignore it. Just don't put your hands on me,
Yeah, yeah,
you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But but it's I think that it's both. I would say both races. I would say both races. I would it's not. It's not more than it's not. I would say both.
It's
I get it from
equally.
both. I think both. I think the black race just kind of like, what is she? And then I think just they know, but they just try to figure it out. Which one, more so is she than other? What is she more black? Is she more white? And then white people, I think they're just like, what is she? Just what is she? You know.
Mm-hmm, hmm.
So it's just, it's a difference in the questioning of that. Um, um, but I get it from both races actually. Um, but do I pay attention to it? No, I don't.
That's good.
I
That
don't.
is so good.
I just don't.
That is good. So,
No.
you know, society wants you to choose
Mhm.
whether you're going to be black or white.
Yeah,
You
they
know,
do.
what side of the fence you're going to be on, how much more. And then when they find out, like we see, I think it was you or either your sister said, imitation of life.
Yes, it's me.
That's one of
Yeah.
that's one of
Yeah.
the things you look at. And you mentioned like your mom when she would come to school to get you, it was like,
Mhm.
who are you?
Right.
And then you did say what your experiences because you didn't want. I rather you tell me you didn't want mom to get those looks or whatever. Tell us what you said when your mom picked you up and you're in school. What was that feeling for you? Like with Imitation of Life, she didn't want her mom to come, and she didn't understand how to embrace the black side. She looked more, she had the hair, she
Mhm.
skin light. That's the side she wanted to be on.
Right.
Where versus you, your mom come. What were you in protection mode? When she call you, did you come up right away, or what was that like?
I was in more protection mode than my mother, unlike the little girl on Imitation of Life, which was ashamed of her mother, and because she was very dark. But she wasn't very dark. I mean, but I would think that my mother, compared to the mother on Imitation of Life, she was about her complexion, you
Right.
know. And so I would I was more protecting my mother, how people would say things to her or how they would look at her. I didn't want her to have the negative comments, because I was younger, and I was more, I felt more protective of her and her
Mm-hmm.
feelings being hurt, than anything, more so than me being hurt or
Mm-hmm.
being embarrassed, rather.
Mm-hmm.
I was never embarrassing my mother at all. I just didn't want people saying anything nasty or mean to her, you know.
Mm. You
Um,
you mentioned your daughter. Yeah, I think you have a son and a
I
daughter,
have a son.
right? Because I know
I have a
you have
son.
a son, and
Mhm.
so your sister,
Has a
Caitlin,
daughter.
she has a daughter.
Kathleen, yeah, Kathleen
Catherine,
has a daughter.
Catherine,
Yes.
Catherine has a daughter. So then it was her that said her daughter, was dark, and she would say, "My mother is white."
Well, yeah, she's not very dark, but but the thing is that she didn't know. When you're young, you know how to answer those questions.
Right.
You know how to answer those questions, and so the easiest thing to do is to say what you think. What other people perceive her to be.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like my
Mm-hmm.
son. You know, when I would go to school to see him, it was like, "Oh, is your mom white?" He said, "No, she just has a skin problem. She's a skin problem."
What?
So yeah, because when you're young, like I said, you're you're young. Yeah, you're young, and you just don't know how to. If you don't know how to answer correctly, you find the easiest thing to, I guess, suffice. To
Did that
to
sit well with you, or did you have to have
oh, it
that
didn't
talk?
sit well with me. I'm like, I don't have a skin problem.
Did you ever correct that,
I
or?
did. I said, son, your mom does not have vitiligo. She does not have a skin problem. She has, your mom's African American, son. I said, I'm just light, lighter. He's like, well, he said, he's a little smart. You look like it. I'm like, well, I'm like, no, son. So, so we have to go through at the time he was young,
Mhm.
we had to go through the heritage thing, and some people, how you have to go to genealogy and stuff like that. Um, so I had to answer it, help him to
Yeah.
understand. But to keep him from being embarrassed, I guess when he was in second grade, whatever, third grade, he answered it best he could, so he wouldn't be questioning anymore about it. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
And so I guess it was the same thing for my niece, to keep her from being questioned about it anymore. Oh, yeah, my mom was white. That
Mhm.
way you leave me alone and won't ask me anything else about it.
Yeah.
And so, because if she were to say, well, mom was black, well, why is she black? Well, how come she looks like that?
Exactly.
So
This is
it's
no
more and more
good.
questions. And so, to keep from being riddled about it, or to be made feel some kind of way about it,
Hmm.
they just answer the best way they can to protect themselves when they're young.
Mm. This one is a big one right here. For some people I met, going to church.
Yes.
I've seen where people, and I know of someone that the husband was black and she's white, and he was not allowed at the church because he's black. And my church where I go is it's a multicultural,
Hmm.
and I do know that you will have some churches that it's all black and maybe a few white couples in there. But what is it like for you and your husband going to church?
Oh, well, first off, we wouldn't go to a church that was, so we go to a church that has all races,
Hmm.
all colors, all
Hmm.
hues.
Mm-hmm.
You see couples look like us all the time, um, who are light skinned like me, or just white and black, or just, interracial, or, so there's no being made, being made to feel any kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
So we go to church comfortable. We're made to feel comfortable, and we just, that's a safe place for us.
That's
It's
good.
a safe place.
That's
Safe
good.
place.
But have you heard of different people, having problems with that? Because, we're supposed to be united,
Love
all
your
color. Jesus
neighbor.
bring
Yes, love
every
each
color
other.
together.
Hmm.
But it's not like that. You have some churches that uh, a mixed church, but then you have 11 o'clock hour, which is mostly predominantly black. The earlier is mixed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
And a lot of so that is not really putting us together cohesively, but it is. I mean, I don't know if people think about it. It is a difference being in the church and being biracial.
it
I
is.
hated to bring that up, but I was like, well, I have to ask her, what is that like?
Well,
Being in the
I
church.
I wouldn't say I hadn't had any problems as an adult, but I can remember when I was young, um, my first experience as a child was AME church,
Hmm.
and I remember my mom, who was a nurse, moved us to the Episcopal church in town. I think because the church services were so quick, and they were like an hour service, so she moved us to to that church, which is a predominantly all white
Wow.
church. And so, oh boy,
Mm.
so when my friends found out about it, or when people found out about it, oh, you go to that white church, you go to that white church, you go to that white church, and so the treatment started,
Mm.
you know, being differently because we belong to a white church with some people, not all people, just some.
Hmm.
And so that made me feel a
Yeah.
little bit some kind of way because, oh, now you're going to the white church. You going to the white church. And I remember one incident that reminded me, I think it was my first time of being reminded that you're black and you're different.
Mm.
And that was when a good friend of mine, in fact, she was the pastor's daughter, who after church they went to eat in our little town. It's a small rural town. Remember,
Hmm.
who we had a little country club, and the country club was all whites. It was like, even though it was 1980s, the
Hmm.
80s, it still had all white memberships. And so after church, she asked me, you asked your mom rather, "Well, can Kim come and eat with us?" And but she asked me before she asked her mom, actually. So I'm like, oh yeah, I get to go eat with you. Yeah, yeah. And so she went and asked her mom, and her mom said, Kim can't come and eat with us. And so she started crying. And
Wow.
so I didn't know why. And so when I was told that I couldn't go to eat at the country club, and was told why I couldn't go eat at the country club, and she's white and I look almost like she does. And I says, well, how come I can't go? I put my arm next to her arm.
Hmm.
I put my
Hmm.
arm next to her arm. I said, well, we're the same color. How come I can't go? And her mom said, because Kim's black. And that hit me. That struck me in my heart.
Mm.
And
Yeah, because it's spiritual. You know what I'm saying? Because
yeah,
it goes deep. You're in the house of God, and it.
right,
People don't call when you get hurt at church. I mean, they don't
right,
call when they get hurt at work. Work hurt,
right,
but when you get hurt
right.
at church, it seems like it's go deeper. And there's a scripture that says,
Yes,
treat, be mindful how, and I'm paraphrasing, how you treat the person, especially in
right,
the household of God. And so they let me know it goes a little deeper.
right.
It hurts a
But
little
that reminded
longer.
that was the first time I think I experienced I, I, I prejudiceness, or whatever. But that was the first time that, you know yeah, Kim, you may look like her, but you're not.
But you're
You
not.
know,
You're black. You're
you're
definitely
black. You're a little
black.
black girl. You're black.
You're black. Now you know
Yeah,
without a
you,
search. Now you know
yeah,
your own
exactly.
match,
Yeah, yeah.
but you're black.
Yes,
Woo!
absolutely. So that, I knew I was black, but that's the first time it just like,
Yeah,
slapped in
up
my
front.
face, yes, up
Wow.
front. And so it hurt. It really hurt.
So how did you
It did.
walk out of there? What did you said you had prayers? What did it take? I know you had to go to God and get that, but what did it take for you to heal?
I don't know. I don't know. I did. I think, I was, it hurt me so bad. I don't even know. I told my mama, I think, and she was
I
mad.
know she did.
But, I think she handled it behind my back. I'm pretty sure she did. But, I think I was mad at my friend for a long time because of the fact that her father was the
Mm-hmm,
priest, and
mm-hmm,
how could he allow that to happen? How come he doesn't say, okay, we're not going to go if Kim can't go because this is not right.
mm-hmm,
This is not right. We're not going to go. So I didn't. I got mad at her, and
mm-hmm.
I didn't speak to her for a bit. For a
Wow.
bit. Yeah, and
Do you think that that may have been her first eye opener to know
I
that?
think so too. I think so too.
Because
It was the first for both of us because we both were
yeah,
young. We both were young.
and
So I think it was
she
both.
see you as a person, a human being, and why not? And then she
Hmm.
gets to be
Yes.
exposed. Can you imagine what that happened to her if like her being in that's her father and stuff, and
Hmm.
then we can think now with what the standpoint where we are now, but
Oh
she
yeah.
might. This is just me saying this. She might have needed you more at that very hurt. That's what it say when you're hurt and that forgiveness. Do it right at the onset. Like the Lord said, while you were yet sinners, He forgave us. So
Yeah.
while she was yet hurting, but neither one of you knew
No,
what to do with that.
we didn't. We did not. I think we were. I didn't have the knowledge about God then. And to even be that to her. I can be.
Hmm.
I could have been. I can be that to someone now.
Yeah.
But being in the being that young, I didn't know how to be that to her. How to be that healing balm to her, nor
Hmm.
could she be to
Hmm.
me, nor could she be
Hmm.
to me.
Wow.
So but I think we both so hurt by it. I think we just you know, just let it be.
Mm-hmm. And you never
So
seen her anymore since that
they moved
time?
away. They moved away. Yeah,
Hmm.
they moved away.
Almost immediately after the incident, or
Not
just
too
something?
long, not too long after, because Episcopal priests they just get transferred,
Hmm.
from church to
Hmm.
church to church. So she moved away, and I don't think well, I know we never did rectify it or talk, get a chance to talk about it, anything
Mm.
like that, because she moved away. So, but
Was
I
that
just remember the experience.
was that something that gave you a look at, yes, there is racism within the church as well?
Yes, absolutely,
Hmm.
absolutely,
Hmm.
absolutely. That was my first, like I said, with racism, but taking a deeper look,
Hmm.
racism within the church. Yes,
Hmm.
absolutely.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Hmm. So Kim, our time is going up. We got on a little later, but
Yeah.
I still want to. What do you want the folks out there as a takeaway? Those who are biracial adult children, and like I say, your book. And we talked about this before. What do you want your book to do? Not, I know we're all black, but in your case, like we said, one of the things that you're doing, paving the way, the forefront of those who are with mixed lineage, those who may not have been told that they're black, but just suffering in silence. Okay, why am I treated like this? My skin is this way. And then some people back in the day, they wanted to kill themselves,
Oh
literally,
yes.
because they could not understand being mixed lineage and being treated, I think, double time. So what
Oh
would you like to
yes.
say to the folks?
I would say, for anyone who looks like me or is struggling with the same issues, to have self acceptance and to have um, self acceptance and know that authenticity is a powerful tool for living a fulfilled life and not worrying about what people say or think about yourself, and what you think of, having the power to know that you are. powerful. You're powerful beyond measure. Yourself is above anything. And what people say, doesn't really matter.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
knowing in your heart that you are beautiful and you're made from God is all that matters, you know? And I am reachable. I'm here always to talk to.
Mhm.
If you want to reach out to me, I'm always available to for 101. If you like to, you can reach me at on my at Facebook, inbox me on Facebook at Kimberly Beasley, or you can email me, Kimberly Beasley Kimberly.Beasley 427 at gmail.com. I'm always available.
I love that you're opening up that platform. What is the hope, and should people have to choose between black and white? So, what is the hope first, and then let us know. Should we have to choose?
We should never have to choose. We should never have to choose. You are who you are. You never should have to choose between one race and another race. You don't. No one has the. Like I said before, there was no line you stood in. You were born who you're born. You were born how you were born, and so you should never choose one race or the other race. If you're multicultural, I would say embrace all of it.
Mm-hmm.
No, learn who you are, learn your heritage, and embrace it. There's nothing wrong with that. I think the only wrong part is ignoring a part of it,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And so I would say embrace all of it. Learn who you are. It takes all of that for you to become the person that you are, and all of it makes you beautiful.
Yeah, and the hope. What is the hope?
The hope, I hope I hope we can get past this. I hope that we can just learn to be, learn to love, learn to love each other. And I would hope that this all goes away one day.
Mm-hmm.
But in reality,
In reality, yes.
in reality, we know that that's probably not going to happen,
Mm-hmm.
but I hope it will. And I just hope that you learn to love yourself in the meantime.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful. I was thinking about earlier as I was going to have this talk with you, and I thought about it. Um, in our world, our society, to hate black, it does it mean if I and I this going to sound probably real silly, but I had to think about it. I had to think about, like, okay, if you're white and I'm black, me sitting next to you, would that make you black? Is that the fear? You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to think of all these things. Okay, so if you sit down and you eat with me and we're eating at the same table, you're going to turn black. What is the fear? What
I
is it that you want to not keep me close to you that would affect you? Because then we get all the storms our way for being black. But I don't think that we should, anybody, any race should get pure hell because you are a certain thing. But we are, as black people, and in the world knows, we are the most hated race.
We are. We're hated, I think, because we're such a powerful and wonderful race, and we're such an intelligent race. And I think that intimidates a lot of
Mm,
people, you know. And I
mm,
think that ignorance is the culprit of it. And I think with you sitting next to a person of color, um, it should be no fear there. I think that the only fear is just not is the unknown,
mhm,
and
mhm,
prejudiceness or any other kind, of like that, is just sparked by ignorance itself,
mhm, mhm,
and so um, get to know people, get to
mhm,
know people, break that
mhm,
fear, get to know the next person. We
mhm.
have more in common than we do not alike.
That's so true. So true. I seen a video recently on the social media. You never know, because sometimes you're thinking you're looking at TikTok, but TikTok is on Facebook, and so I'll just say
Yes.
social media. It was a white boy. I would say he was probably first grade,
Hmm.
kindergarten, and the person, I don't know if it was mom, aunt, relative, whatever, asked him, "What color are you?" He said he was. Um, he didn't say white. He didn't say pink, whatever color he said. And then uh, I'm trying to think what color he said. I want to say he didn't say white. He could say beige, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say beige, but that's not the color he said. And
Yes.
then she asked him, well, what color so and so? And they were the same color, right? And so what looking at that, she was alluring to, okay, you're white. And she did say white. He said, I'm not white. I'm beige, for
Mm-hmm.
example. And then
Mm-hmm.
she's like, oh. And so he didn't look at, you know, he had a black person that he knew. I don't know if it was a friend. Said, well, what color is so and so? He said brown. And so that lets me know that it is spoon fed, if you will, racism, you know, and he didn't see it that way. He saw that person as a brown person, and there is absolutely no problem. He's
No.
brown, I'm beige,
Right.
for example.
Yeah.
And so it's not a problem.
No. Racism comes from adults,
Yeah,
not from children.
yeah, yeah. And I told you about when the little girl lived next to me. We were both 5 years old, and we played. They were there for a couple of months, whatever. And she came out and told me she couldn't play with me no more because black people are dirty.
Mm.
And they packed up and
Oh,
moved. And so I'm like, it was short lived. I don't know when they packed up. I don't know. They must have burnt the midnight oil because everything was gone. They didn't live there. They were short lived. So I just wish, like you say, racism is not going anywhere. It's still here. I'm 50 plus years old and still the same thing. And I don't know what they want to do with it. I really don't. And I am glad that we are now able to talk about it.
yes.
First, we couldn't talk about this. It was always something else. You talk about that, and this happened, that happened, but nobody want to talk about race. And you would think, and I'll let us go on this. You would think the only person in the world is a black person and a white person. We have so many people. We have Mexicans, we have, Latinos, we have a lot of different race. But the only race in America, and I might be real facetious, is black and white. There's not absolutely nothing else to talk about. That's
That's
crazy.
because, yeah, that's because they make it the forefront, and I'm pretty sure there's racism and, of different kinds, but that's all you hear about. It's because that's what they're trying to eradicate, and that's what they're trying to, you know, um, it's in the forefront again,
Mm,
and but the thing about it, only thing I can see about it is that how can you, and that's to me, that's if you don't try to kill, it's just we're just so powerful,
hmm.
you wouldn't try to kill anything that's not powerful,
Wow.
you
Wow.
know.
I tell you something, and we can leave on this note, and you can tell, you know, folks again where you reach at. But I didn't see the Super Bowl halftime,
Mhm.
but I'm seeing the song, and with um that halftime,
Kendrick Lamar, yeah.
Kendrick Lamar, and that halftime, I'm seeing different things in the social media. White people dancing, Mexican people dancing, and
Yes,
I'm thinking that brought us the racial division, kind of brought us together because everybody's still doing it.
I see unity. I see unity in that.
Yes, yes. And then you see like some negative commercial where
Hmm.
um, they showed something, and then like the Mexicans, they were hiding, it was cooking somewhere, and they were hiding it different way. We need we need our minorities, and
Yes.
build
Mhm.
it helped
Yes.
build this country.
Yes.
And from what I'm hearing, um, our white counterparts feel like that something is old. We say 40 acres in the moon, something is old to us, but I don't think we really live like we're going to get it. You know what I'm saying? We know that this may not happen for us. But the lie is that we're trying to take something. And the truth to me is that none of us own nothing. The
No.
world is everybody's.
Right.
It's everybody's world. We all
Right.
live here and we're meant to live together no matter what color we are. And so
Absolutely.
I think if we unite it, we won't change racism, but if we unite it as human race, I
Hmm.
think we'll win that whole ethnic race thing, race war, is if we would all come together as a human race, as well as seeing Black people as human, because we did come over as cattle, you know, we were slaves, come
Hmm.
over as cattle,
Hmm.
but I think, like, even when it comes to things as policemen or different things like that, we are quick to get handcuffed, even as a kid. Somebody
Yes.
not
Yes.
10 years old should get
Right.
handcuffed, whereas you wouldn't handcuff a little white boy. You just
No.
wouldn't.
No. 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 Mm-mm.
So we are just traumatic, so much traumatic, so much PTS we have, PTSD, us
Yes.
as Black people,
Hmm.
systemically, uh, all this stuff going on. And only thing we can do is try to live from day to day.
Day to day.
That's it. So with your book, I know it's a children's book, and this is our last day together. It has been amazing. What a
It doesn't
wonderful
have to be.
journey. Yeah, it doesn't have to be, but it is. This is day 3, and it
Yes.
doesn't have to be. And this has been a great journey. I learned so much um, just having your book. And just like you said, in your book, you have your grandparents,
Hmm.
and she showed you that you don't have to choose. You can embrace all.
All of
Ah,
it. All of it. All of it. It's a self journey.
yeah.
It's a self journey of true identity.
Mm-hmm.
It's a self
Mm-hmm.
journey of love.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Show your book. I don't know if you have it with you. I can't
Of
bring it
course
up
I
no
have.
more. Yeah. That little powerful book right there has so much in it, guys. Reach out and get your own. It's on Amazon and it is on Kindle as well. Searching for Me about colorism, racism, and mixed race lineage. Powerful book, guys. And Kimberly, before you go, I know you said, what is this little book? How can you have, when we first talked about it, how can you have something? It's just a children's book. I said, oh, but it's so much more. Now you see, there's layers and different facets of that book that we'll see even as a child. And the last thing, we promise you, we're leaving. The last thing, when we talked, you wanted the younger group to know about this. Tell us why you wanted to target the younger group.
Because children at that age, that's where your insecurities start. And that's when you're most vulnerable. And that's where I want to stop.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I wrote this book. I want children to know at a young age who they are and they're loved. And
Mm-hmm.
they're so much more than what society says they are. And what
Mm-hmm.
people of negativity, say negative things to them say they are.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know
Mm-hmm.
that. And that's why they need to read. That's why they need this book.
Mm-hmm.
That's why
Wow.
they need this book.
It's powerful. Really is. I'm not just talking, guys. You guys see it in replay. This book is very powerful. And to know as a kid. Thank you for that. Thank you so much, Kimberly. Thank you for trusting us with your story because it is an amazing story. You got your review and it is a 5-star.
Thank you.
You
Thank you.
are
Thank you. Thank
so
you.
welcome. Have an amazing night. Thank you for
You as
working for
well.
me, allowing me to do what I needed to do before I came on. You as well. Good night.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye bye.
You are so welcome. Thank you as well. Hit that X up there. Guys, thank you for being here. Our guest, Kimberly Beasley. What a powerful book. It is a children's book, but it is loaded with power. And also, we do have another show coming up, guys. It's going to be next week. Sorry about that. Next week, we're going to bring back Master Sergeant Clayton Arline. He's going to come back and he's going to conclude our 3-day And we're going to talk about different things, all of the accusations and different things that happened to him. So many things happen in that book. You'll see so many near-death experiences living in the Deep South. And I have this book right here, and it is, let me get it where you could see it right here. It's so many things that happen. And his book is called Grew Up in the Deep South and Saved by Many Angels. OMG. And he do mean that. And so that'll be on the 25th. And then we will have William D. McCrary, and we're going to talk about autism. And he has a little powerful book, and it is talking about his son who has autism. And the book is titled A Little Boy and a Dragon. The dragon is his son, superhero. And so we're going to talk about that. It's a very powerful book. So stay tuned. The little boy, a little boy in his dragon. I love the picture. It's so many things going on, especially seeing that superpower, the dragon behind him with the little teddy bears and almost like a guardian around him. And I look forward to that. And so he will be coming back, and he has a 3-day with us as well. So if you guys want your book showcase and be one of our features, uh, authors, it is a 3-day show, 3-day scheduled show, and it is valued at $250. And we will read your book and deep dive into your book and bring out those wonderful things. Also in April, we will have an autism panel that will be audio. It's on Noon Vibe, formerly called Wisdom, and we're going to have 4 guests. And so you'll see that flyer going around, and you'll see that there are going to be different days, but it's going to be a panel audio. So thank you guys for being here. Have an amazing night. Thank you for your share. I see a couple of you guys sharing. I really appreciate you guys on here. Trey, I guess that's how you say it, TRWY 600. And also thank you for being here. Marion, she was our guest yesterday. Laugh with B. Thank you for being here. Also our guest Kimberly. And if Melvina is still here, thank you, Melvina, for being here. You guys have an amazing night. Thank you guys for checking in with us and seeing how we're doing with our shows. And thank you for sharing. You guys have an amazing night. I really appreciate you. Could be somewhere else, but thank you. Whether you peeked in, came in and out, and shared. Thank you so much. We do appreciate you. Ellen Sutter of ESP Presents and ESP Book Chats, where we bring page turners your way. Thank you.